Let's just jump right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're tackling what is honestly the ultimate paradox for hardworking professionals. Look, you work incredibly hard for your money. You negotiate that salary, you compare the interest rates, you meticulously map out your career trajectory, you're optimizing your 401k, and then you go and drop $1,200 on an espresso machine that makes you happy for, exactly 11 days? It's kind of a tragedy of modern personal finance. So, today, we're completely reframing how we look at our wealth. We're going to stop treating it like just an accumulation game and start using it as a precise instrument for actual life satisfaction.
Seriously, just compare how we earn to how we spend. You are probably a master at strategizing, right? Negotiating, putting in the hard work to get that paycheck. But when it comes to spending it, for most of us, spending is totally impulsive. We buy depreciating assets, and it yields this incredibly fleeting joy. Like I said, about 11 days of happiness for a major purchase. Here's the really uncomfortable truth. Most of us aren't actually bad at earning money. We're just terrible at spending it. And over a lifetime, that misallocation of resources costs you vastly more happiness than a lower salary ever will.
Which brings us to our core philosophy here. Stop using money as a scoreboard and start using it as a strategy. Two of the leading psychologists in this area, Elizabeth Dunn and Michael Norton, actually coined the term happy money. And their research pretty much overturns everything we assume about what a purchase is actually worth. It turns out your lifetime happiness depends way more on how you spend rather than how much you earn. So, to really apply their insights, we're going to walk through 5 science-backed questions you absolutely need to ask yourself before your next purchase.
All right, question 1. Is this buying me time or stealing it? This is really about analyzing the daily friction in your life. You know, human behavior is funny. We systematically undervalue our time. We hyper-focus on the financial cost of a thing, but we almost never calculate the time tax it imposes. Before you swipe that card, you've got to ask if a purchase is going to remove friction from your day or just quietly add it back in.
Think about the classic suburban upgrade. You proudly buy this ginormous house out in the suburbs because, hey, you're upgrading your life. But what did you actually upgrade? Your commute. You literally just traded a 90-minute round trip and hours of your finite life for some extra square footage. Now contrast that with the time buyer. Researchers at Harvard Business School actually tracked thousands of people across multiple countries, and the data is undeniable. People who spent money to save time, hiring help, outsourcing chores, maybe paying higher rent just to live closer to work, they reported way higher life satisfaction than the folks who bought material goods. Buying back your time directly elevates your life.
But hold on, there is a massive caveat here. The research shows that even people who buy back their time can still end up miserable. Why? Well, because if you outsource your yard work, pay for that direct flight, hire a cleaner, but then you take those newly freed up hours and just sit on your couch answering more work emails, you've completely missed the point. Outsourcing only upgrades your happiness if you take that protected hour and invest it into seeing friends, exercising, reading, or honestly just resting.
So if protecting your time is step 1, step 2 is figuring out exactly what you should fill that newly protected time with. That's question 2. Is this a story or just a thing? Because across dozens and dozens of studies, once your basic needs are met, doing something consistently beats having something. When you break down the ROI, experiences absolutely destroy physical possessions. Just think about the social impact. Things invite comparison, right? You're always looking at who has the better car or the flashier watch. Experiences, on the other hand, invite reflection. I mean, nobody ever says, my memory of hiking the Grand Canyon is nicer than your memory. And then look at the value trajectory. Things depreciate rapidly. That brand new luxury car quickly just becomes the mundane metal box you drive to work in. But stories and experiences actually appreciate over time. We look back on them fondly. The memories sweeten. Finally, personal meaning. Things sit in a drawer. Experiences become a part of your identity. So ask yourself, 6 months from now, will I be glad I did this, or will it just be sitting in a closet gathering dust?
That brings us to question 3. Does this bring me closer to other people? We so often think of happiness as this completely individual pursuit, right? Like a solo endeavor. But science clearly tells us that human happiness is inherently relational. Spending exclusively on yourself definitely has a ceiling. Study after study, whether they're looking at toddlers or office workers in Canada or folks in Uganda, shows that spending on others makes us demonstrably happier than spending on ourselves.
It really all boils down to one powerful rule. Solo joy plateaus, shared joy compounds. If you ask who benefits from this spending and the answer is just me, well, that's not automatically bad. But if the answer is me and someone I care about, your odds of actual happiness go way, way up. And here's an important nuance from the source material. This boost is strongest when you choose freely, not out of guilt, and when you can actually see the impact. Like giving $50 to a massive abstract institution might not move the needle on your personal happiness, but funding a specific family's roof repair where you can actually see the result, that yields a massive emotional return. Bring people in.
Now here's the part that should genuinely scare you, especially if you're a high earner. You are up against a biological enemy called hedonic adaptation. This is literally an automatic mechanism in your brain that quietly drains the happiness out of every good decision you make. Think about it. The first time you drive that fancy luxury car, incredible. The 10th time, normal. The 20th time, completely expected and honestly, kind of boring. The exact same pleasure, if you buy it too often, just becomes your new, boring normal.
Which leads us straight into our strategic countermeasure. Question 4. Can I make this a treat instead of a baseline? To defeat hedonic adaptation, you have to make sure you don't permanently upgrade your lifestyle into a state of total boredom. You don't need to eliminate pleasure, not at all. You just have to protect it from becoming routine.
You literally have to put guardrails around your pleasure to protect it. Just think about it. Fancy coffee? Only on Fridays. One incredible luxury hotel stay per year. A high-end date night at that special place once a month. What you're doing here is artificially manufacturing scarcity. Frequency kills enjoyment, but scarcity restores it. You kind of have to lean into the harsh truth here. If everything is special, nothing is. So structure your spending as an occasional treat, not a permanent habit.
And finally, question 5. Can I pay now and enjoy later? This is a highly counterintuitive quirk of human psychology when it comes to the timeline of parting with our cash. Most of us want to buy now and pay later, right? That's the American way. But the research says that is completely backward for our psychological well-being. Here's the psychological math on this. When you pay during the event, like swiping your card at the end of a really nice meal or paying at the hotel checkout, the pain of the cost actively ruins the moment. But when you pay months in advance, you separate the pain of paying from the enjoyment of the experience. You front-load the cost and you back-load the joy. Plus, you get weeks, sometimes months of free happiness just through pure anticipation. So buy the concert ticket 3 weeks out. Let your brain look forward to it. Buy anticipation.
Okay, let's bring this all together into what we can call the Smart Spending Scorecard. These are the 5 questions you should mentally run through before any significant purchase. 1. Does this buy me time or steal it? 2. Is this a story instead of a thing? 3. Does this bring me closer to people? 4. Is it structured as a treat instead of a baseline? And 5. Am I paying now to enjoy later? Just running through this simple checklist stops the quiet leakage of your wealth and your joy.
Now, you definitely don't need to hit all 5 every single time, but here is your magic target number, 3. If a purchase hits 3 or more out of 5 on this scorecard, it's a strategically sound investment in your personal happiness. You're probably making the exact right move. If it scores a 0, yeah, that isn't smart spending.
So, let's leave off with a final thought for you to really chew on. Smart professionals don't just earn wisely, they spend wisely. Money absolutely does not buy happiness on its own, but smarter spending absolutely can. So I'll leave you with this. Money is a tool for life strategy. Are you using yours to build a life or just to fill a garage? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you use this scorecard the next time you pull out your wallet.